Hi, today I will be telling you of a time that I learned two pretty important things. First, I learned a few important lessons, which I'm going to get to later. And second, I learned a lot of grammar. That'll make sense once I get going with the story. It was my freshman year, and my teacher had just introduced us to this learning program called eGum. It was a new online learning tool meant to improve our grammar and mechanics. Let me mention that previous to my freshman year, I was lacking my grammar and sentence structure skills. I couldn't even tell you the difference or meaning from a noun and a verb. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Most of the kids in my grade found eGum to be pretty boring and very difficult. But unlike most of my classmates, I was actually finding learning software to be better at teaching me English than any of my previous teachers had been. I started by getting down to the basics, and before I knew it, I found myself ahead of the class and ahead of my homework. I was getting through the lessons fast and accomplishing a lot while others were falling behind. While I was succeeding, many of my classmates were not. They didn't really get it and were falling behind. I overheard a kid talking about how he made $25 for a lesson just for doing other kids' homework. And that got me thinking. With me being the money-loving kid I've always been, I saw this as an opportunity. Kids would pay me $10 a lesson, and many kids had like 5 lessons they needed done. So I started reaching out and letting kids know I was doing lessons for money. And the whole time, my parents thought that I was just taking initiative and doing a lot of extra homework just for myself. So kind of had the benefit of me making a lot of cash and me looking like I was doing a lot at home. Eventually, well, this was bound to happen, some kid ratted out the whole grade. And yes, this went down to be his legacy. But I had gotten snitched out by one of my people I did it for and had to take a 0 on my final. Although I still finished with a B in the class, so I was pretty happy with myself because I had been doing well enough at least to hold my grades up. And that's pretty much the story, but I took some pretty important lessons from this. First off, it's really not a good idea to cheat, especially as you get older, consequences become a lot more intense. And another one is, although situations sometimes may seem lucrative or may seem like they have great rewards, the means to getting there isn't always going to be worth it. But I also happened to learn many important grammar skills and became very proficient in my grammar skills. So ultimately, I don't really regret this situation because I was able to use it as a learning curve, but I wouldn't do it again. And probably the last lesson is you can't just really trust people, so if you're going to be dishonest, keep it to yourself. I know that's not the most typical advice, but it was the lesson I learned. And yeah, thanks for listening. I just wanted to share that story.